Hey everyone, Tony here, Psyched on Baseball Cards. Hope everybody had a nice weekend. And it's been a while since I've done a video, so I'm doing one. And this one is going to be my very first baseball game. And back in 1958, on June 14th, or June 4th rather, my Little League coach took myself and his son to the Giants game. They were playing the Milwaukee Braves at the time, and it was a fantastic ball game. I'll go into it in a minute. But first, a little bit about Seal Stadium. It was the home of the San Francisco Seals of the Pacific Coast League. It had a capacity of 18,600. The Giants moved there in 1958, and they increased the capacity to 22,900. The Giants played their first game on April 15th in 1958, and they closed out after the game on September 20th, 1959. And in November of 59, the ballpark was demolished. The dimensions down the left field line were 340 feet, 410 to straightaway center field, and 355 feet down the right field. I was sitting right off of home plate down the first baseline, and there were fantastic seats. And I remember distinctly when I walked up the stairs, it was and the old field started coming into view. I was just blown away. It was just such a green field of grass and the dirt, and it was just a beautiful sight. And it was just blown away by it. And the game was absolutely amazing. A lot of action, and I'll show you the scoreboard from what was going on here. As you can see, you have the game went 11 innings. Giants lost 10-9. Braves had 15 hits, Giants 14 hits. And you can see the Giants had the lead 7-1 after 3 innings, and it went all downhill for them then. Except for the Braves tied the game in the ninth with a 3-run home run, and the Giants didn't score. Braves scored 2 more in the 10th. Giants tied it in the bottom of the 10th. And the Braves scored in the top of the 11th, and the Giants couldn't answer. So, a fantastic game. And so what I'm going to do is show you some cards of the players in that game. And all these cards are from my 1960 top set. And the attendance for the game was 20,886. And the game was 3 hours and 35 minutes long. Okay. Starting pitcher for the Braves was Bob Rush. And for the Giants, Mike McCormick. All right. So McCormick was one of my favorite Giant pitchers. And okay, so I'm going to do the Braves players first, and in the top of the first inning, Felix Mantilla hit a home run, and I remember it being on the first pitch of the game, but I could be wrong. But I do remember the home run, and he went 1 for 5 that day, and his home run was the one hit, obviously. And then next up we have Joe Adcock. Adcock went 2 for 6. He had a single and a double, and he scored a run. His double was off of pitcher Al Worthington. And yeah, so Dale Crandall was a great catcher. One of the guys I followed in the box scores in the newspaper. Crandall was 1 for 2, and he hit a home run in the 5th inning off of Mike McCormick. And then we have Eddie Matthews. And Matthews was 1 for 6, and he had 2 RBI. And of course, we had Hank Aaron. Aaron was 3 for 6. All hits were singles. He had an RBI, and he scored a run. And one of the things that really I remember, and this was so cool, and one of my favorite pitchers, of course, was Warren Spahn for the Braves. And Spahny pinched hit in the 10th inning, got a base hit and a run and an RBI. So that was pretty cool. And, we had Wes Covington went 1 for 4 that day, and he had a 2-out, 3-run homer in the 9th inning that tied the game. And that home run was off of Pete Burnside. The 2 pitchers for the game, Rush only lasted an inning and 2/3, and McCormick pitched 8 1/3 innings. So he actually pitched a pretty good game. It was the bullpen that let him down. All right, so for the Giants hitters that day, also the winning run was scored on a hit by Andy Pafko. I don't have a card for him, but he had the winning RBI, which turned out to be the winning RBI in the 11th inning. Okay. And for the Giants, they also had a first inning home run, and it was by Bob Speak, which I do not have a card for. He wasn't in the 60 set. And he was 1 for 4, and the one hit was a home run. And he didn't hit it on the first pitch. I think he hit it more like 3 pitches in the inning. But he was a leadoff hitter for the Giants. Hank Sauer had a pinch hit home run in the 10th inning for the Giants. I do not have a card for him. And he didn't have one in the 60 set. Well, actually, I think he did have a card, but it was a 3-player card. Anyway. Bob Schmidt for the Giants. He had a pinch hit home run in the 10th inning off of Ernie Johnson. Darrell Spencer. He was 1 for 5 with an RBI and a run scored. And Mike McCormick, the Giants' starting pitcher, he had 2 hits in the game. He went 2 for 3, both singles, and he scored a run. Sorry about this. Lighting in here is not too good. My camera's having a little bit of difficulty. Tim King, I don't have a card for him, but he was 1 for 4 and had an RBI triple off of Bob Throwbridge. All right. Stu Miller was the losing pitcher. He pitched 1 2/3 innings and gave up the go-ahead run in the 11th inning. Orlando Cepeda did not have a good day at the plate. He was 0 for 5. And Willie Mays had a really good day. He was 4 for 6. He had 2 doubles and 2 singles, stole 2 bases, second and third, and he had 1 RBI and a run scored. One of the bases he stole off of the pitcher was Carl Sawatsky. All right, so that is it. Fantastic game, one I will always remember, and it was just such a fun experience. And what can I say? 1960 was the last year I collected cards, and I went for till 2010, so I started collecting again. But I went to a lot of Giants games before I got drafted into the military. And when I got out, the A's were in Oakland, and so I slowly became an A's fan because they were just so much easier to get to the ball games. And but I still follow the Giants. I've always liked the Giants all these years also, but the A's were more my team. Okay, and now I'm back to being a Giants fan. Came full circle. So anyway, that's it, my friends. I hope everybody enjoyed this, and have a great rest of the day and a fantastic week. Take care.